Annabelle as always. Welcome back. So we are continuing our Bates Motel franchise series review. So we are obviously still on season 2. We are on episode 2 itself. So a lot of different things are going on again. I know I say that every video, but seriously, I always forget how much goes on in each episode and everything. It's very jam-packed episodes. That's what I really like about this show. But let's kick it off. So we pick up pretty much where we left off in the last episode with Norman and Bradley. Bradley obviously had just killed the that guy Gil, who had killed her father and everything. And of course, obviously, she went to Norman. She confesses at the beginning of the video to Norman that she killed Gil and everything. So, she's a little like, oh my god, I need to do something about this or whatever. I need your help. And at first, before she confesses, Norman was kind of like, wait, hang on a second. Like, I can't keep doing this with you. But then she confesses and he kind of realizes like, oh crap, like, she's in trouble. Like, I do need to help her and everything. And I feel like at this point, I know Bradley has been a little touch and go with Norman, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, it's nice to see that her character sort of is trusting with Norman. He is someone that, is not gonna totally throw him under the bus or judge her or anything. He will genuinely help her out and everything. So she basically is staying in the basement of the Bates. And no one knows this because actually her mother calls the next day, is asking oh, where is she? Do you know? She's been missing since last night and everything. But of course, he's, protecting her and everything, realizing that she's got to get out. Maybe it's probably the best option for her to sort of leave town and everything. So, she dyes her hair and everything to kind of change her appearance and escape a little bit easier and stuff. Meantime, obviously, the police are investigating Gil's death and everything, and they think that, it is someone else who had killed Gil. They think it's, kind of like someone else that had a beef with them and everything, that's in the business. Little do they realize that this little 17-year-old girl took revenge for her father's death and everything. So, she's kind of in the clear about that, but that will kind of come into play a little bit later with Bradley and everything. Meantime, too, Norma is trying to kind of distract Norman from this whole kind of obsession with Mrs. Watson's death and everything. And I think Norma is still kind of a little bit questioning, did Norman have something to do with this murder? Because, really, at the end of the day, we don't know for sure if Norman actually killed Mrs. Watson, but it's pretty safe to assume that he did. And interesting little fact, they do actually arrest someone, and they have someone in custody. I should say Romero has someone in custody of a suspect who they believe killed Mrs. Watson, and somehow this guy's semen is at her place or something. So this buys them at least a little bit of time until we actually realize that they are going to go ahead and convict this guy for the Watson murder and everything. So but with Norma and everything, like I said, she's still kind of questioning if if Norman had anything to do with the murder or anything. And she doesn't know for most of the episode that Romero has someone in custody, so she's still kind of freaking out. She's trying to figure something out in case if something actually did happen that night with Norman and the teacher and everything. And she's still kind of trying to get some information out of him, hey, what really happened. And she's starting to kind of acknowledge more of his blackouts and everything, and starting to realize okay, this is a serious problem. What if he did black out, he did do something, and has absolutely no recollection? So she's trying to kind of deal with that as well. So yeah, they do this little variety show and everything, or Norma wants to do it, and they actually pick out a song that Mr. Sandman song or whatever. They're kind of singing and everything. But because Norman has so much pressure going on with him, with like Miss Watson, and with what's going on with Bradley and everything, he kind of goes off on his mother. Like, no, I don't want to do this. You always want to do stuff like this because you think it's a good idea. And part of it, you almost kind of feel like, okay, maybe it's sort of his, like, being a rebellious teen and everything. But that normally comes at least a few years earlier with a teen when we rebel against our parents. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's more of just the pressure that he's rebelling against Norman and everything. Like I said, the pressures that keep kind of building on him with all this other stuff, and that he's kind of keeping secrets from Norma and everything, which has to be really difficult for him because him and Norma are always so close, tell each other everything. So, you know, he's got to be struggling with that too, of not being able to be honest with her about certain things. So, but yeah. So, and because they are actually, auditioning and everything, or at least Norma is auditioning, Norman calls Dylan and explains, like, hey, look, Bradley's in our basement right now. She killed Gil and everything, and she's gonna run away. I promised her I was gonna do this. Please, can you take her to the train station, and please let her know that I wanted to be there, to be the one to take her to the train station and make sure she actually got on the train to get away and everything. And kind of, thank God he did do this. Thank God Norman did do this, because Dylan, as much as Dylan and Norman, still are trying to, like, figure each other out and everything, still aren't always getting along all the time, but he's still, him as a character, he still kind of steps up and helps his brother out, just to try to, like, help him out, because that's the brotherly thing to do. He knows that something's going on, plus he knows Bradley, now that he knows the whole story, he knows that Bradley could potentially be in very, very grave danger, now knowing that she's the one who killed Gil. So much rhyming there. So he meets up with Bradley, explains the situation and everything, and explains to her, of like, hey, look, most of the time I probably would not tell people to run away, but there are some bad guys looking for like Gil's killer and everything. They have no idea that it's you. We need to get you out of here, but here's the thing you're gonna do first. You're gonna write a suicide note. I'm gonna, take some of your clothes, put them down by, like, the beach or whatever, with the suicide note, so everyone thinks that you are no longer alive. That way you can kind of, like, stay off the radar, lay low for a little bit until this whole thing kind of, like, goes away type of thing. So, I mean, I give him credit, too, of, like, doing that, because, he's got a heart, especially in the business that he's in. He's still kind of a good guy and trying to, like, play both sides of the fence, so, because he's kind of an inside guy, so, but whatever. So as the episode's wrapping up and everything, we got all this stuff kind of going on, and then, what do you know? Very end of the episode, we get someone kind of coming in. We're thinking this guy that's coming into this gas station, asking about the Bates Motel. We're kind of like, oh, God, who, like, what now? Like, is this another, like, Gil crony guy? Nope, we find out that Norma has a brother, and fair warning for you guys, with this character, with the brother, I know we already have some information about Norma's brother, like, she's been raped by him and stuff growing up and everything, but there's gonna be some more WTF moments with this character, just a fair warning. But that is our season 2, episode 2 review. I will see you guys next week with the 3rd episode of the 2nd season. Till then, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.